Alrighty, welcome to episode 152 of Tokwa's Ask Us Anything. Unusually, it's been a pretty quiet news week. Tesla has introduced software limited reduced battery capacity versions of their left-hand drive models S and X. These standard range versions have about 130 kilometers in range reduction at a price discount of 10,000 US dollars. And that was this week's news.
Right, there's not much news.
There wasn't much news, to be honest. I mean, look, there were lots of newsy bits, but rumors of Indonesia just not really building a gigafactory, and they really just want to. Tesla just wants to build a battery factory instead. Anyway. All right, welcome everyone. If there is anyone that is new, I customarily ask them to say hello and introduce yourselves. There aren't a lot of people on today. I don't know why. Maybe they just didn't get the email that the show was on or something. I think there was some ladies kicking a football around or something. I don't know.
Round ball.
Round ball. Sorry. Well, it is a football,
It
probably,
is a football.
in some places of the world.
It's the proper game, folks.
It is absolutely
Not aerial
football.
ping pong.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess Australian rules should be called hand and football, but anyway, that sounds like a disease. Alrighty, if there is anyone new, please do say hello, but I don't think there is, and I don't think you will. So let's just go straight to questions and comments. Nigel, what did you think?
Well,
Oh,
no,
sorry.
I've actually got something. We discussed a week or two ago about the stock Lamborghini chargers, and they put in that was it CTEC dual ported one. Well, wasn't too sure it was going to be 7 or 11. I can confirm that both ports are 7 kilowatts, and it is now possible. There you go. There was 3 cars there the other day. A Polestar ran the cable behind the white Tesla, and so both cars, mine and the Polestar, were getting 7 kilowatts. The Polestar's parked in 2 motorcycle bays, but it was peeing down with rain, and I've only ever seen the odd motorcycle there over the years. So you can get 3 cars charging there if you were interested.
Very good. And sorry, this is at Stocklands
Stockland Shopping Centre. So there's 2 motorcycles there. They're both called Polestar 2.
Very good. Very good. Actually, I'm struggling to find. Oh, it's well down. Oh, it's all the way down there. Right. Okay. Gotcha. Yep. Cool.
Yeah,
These places south of the river, they're hard to find. You never know.
I know,
where
because
they are.
I was looking at success.
You need
I was
a-
looking at success, and I
need
thought
lunch.
that's not really success. And then Coburn Shopping Centre, and it's like,
Much
no,
further
it's even
south.
much
Keep
further
going.
south.
And in fact,
Keep going.
on the
Right.
app, if you zoom in on the PlugShare map, zoom, they've actually got it in twice. One's the 7 kilowatt charger. Yeah, that's where it is. Now the other one needs to be moved over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can.
That
we
one's
can
in the
do
wrong
that.
spot.
Yeah.
Well, they just need to merge them into one site.
Yeah.
Well, that would be even better, just to add stations to the other site. And I don't. Does this have edit functions on here? Russell's going to be yelling at me, going,
I
"Of course
couldn't
it does."
find it when I was
No.
going.
There's more
well,
features on the app than there are on the web.
Yeah, we can change it on the app. You just got to drag the icon, but it would actually be better if they'd merged it. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's difficult to do. Actually, no. It's really just.
You just
It should
delete
just
one
be
and
one
edit the other
Tesla.
one.
Yeah, just delete one and then just add the what's the name to the first one. In fact, the
Yeah.
first one says it has just a Tesla. That's right. We need to add 2 plugs. Yeah, okay. We'll do that later
It
on.
used to have
Yeah.
a Type 2 and Tesla and a 15
Type 1.
something. Yeah, and you go,
Yep.
what? and they then changed it so that it was a Type 2 and a Tesla. Now they've gone and separated them.
That's
But
weird.
yeah, and it's going to make it difficult when people actually check in because they'll check in on the wrong pin, and well, yeah, it's just it's one location with 3 chargers or 3 outlets.
Yeah, really. But if you look at the 2 Type 2s, it says output changes depending upon available solar. Well, it doesn't. And the other thing it shows is that it's 222 kilowatts.
It's not. It's 7.
It's not. I've messaged PlugShare about that. It says,
I'm assuming they basically split the 3-phase, and there's 1 phase to each side of that Schneider.
Yeah,
Because there's 7 kilowatts on each side of that Schneider, as far as we can work it out.
Yes, but there were originally 2 Type 1, and they've got 2 pipes coming down.
Right.
Right.
So potentially it was never 3-phase. It's just always had 32 amp single phase.
Always been.
Yeah.
Let me just bring this up again. So if you look there, between the white and the blue Tesla, God, that's a nice blue, isn't it?
I've seen another one just the same. You're a trendsetter.
Down, and they're both just single phase.
Yeah. So 2 32 amp circuits, one on each side. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, there is a reason. What? Sorry, apologies. Can you just unthingy, please? Yeah.
I've unthingied.
I'll just spotlight because it's just too hard to do this right. On the app, it's actually got live status. So this is a new development. So I'm not sure if is that ChargeFox. Is that on the ChargeFox?
Well, ChargeFox will also register.
It is ChargeFox. So what's happened is ChargeFox is actually, they have a new method of, they have control of PlugShare, they have control of pins that appear on PlugShare. So you can actually see it's actually got live status. So that's actually saying that 1 is charging on the Type 2. Oh no, that's not necessarily right, is it? That's just someone who's checked in.
Yeah, that's the check.
Sorry, my bad. Forget forget that. Because actually both are available. Yeah. There is. I was right the second time. There is an actual status. You can see there the live status of the Type 2 available from ChargeFox. So that's live telemetry.
22 kilowatts, but they're not.
No.
I plugged it in and it was only getting 7.
I think the problem is we need to tell ChargeFox, because ChargeFox have sort of like a direct plug-in into PlugShare. And that's why there's a new pin, because previously it was a charge point thingy, wasn't it, Nigel? The charge point
it was
charges?
The old charge point with the Type 1, yeah.
Yeah. And the issue there will be ChargeFox will be unwilling or unable to add the Tesla destination charger to their pin because they don't sort of have control of it. So I dare say, and I bet we can't even move that pin because ChargeFox tells PlugShare the coordinates. So again, we've got to tell ChargeFox to please edit the pin to move it to where it actually is. So that's how it works. So you can't edit. I theorize that you cannot edit any part of that pin because it's locked down by ChargeFox. Similarly, as the supercharger pins are locked down by Tesla. But anyone, feel free to have a little edit on your phones just to have a try. Alrighty, so any other questions or comments?
I had a comment about the latest update that I got on the car. Where is it? 23.26.7.
Yes.
I've noticed that the indicators are bloody quiet as all. You can't hear them.
At all, or faint?
It's really, really faint. like even when you don't have it on. So
That's good because you can't cancel them either.
so I flicked it off. I flicked off Joe mode because I had that on, and then it was really loud. So I flicked it back and just went, I hope they just fix it in the next one. But I just thought if people rely on hearing the indicators, I mean, I've got the blind spot up and that sort of stuff, so I know what's happening. But I just thought if other people were just relying on the noise, you know.
I haven't noticed the indicators being loud on non-Joe mode, but then
Yeah.
maybe your ears are just sensitive, Paul, because
Yeah.
you've been used to Joe mode.
Yeah. So,
The
because
audio
I
change
noticed with Leonie's, because I drove her Y, and that was the same audible noise, you know, and she hasn't done the update yet. So I was going, oh, okay, I think it has changed.
Maybe you've got Joe mode squared or something at the moment. There are. Tesla has had a few little audio glitches in the past.
Yeah.
In the old Model S's and X's, when you cancelled autopilot at random, it would do a massive ding, like to wake the dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Actually,
really loud.
yeah, that's quieter now as well. Autopilot chimes and all that. Yeah. I just thought.
Interesting.
You didn't mention
It's-
Cybertrucks.
Oh no, well I was going to get to that. Don't you worry
Okay,
about don't you worry
Okay.
about that. I mean,
I'm so
I've got-
excited.
I've got Gregor Truck. Oh, actually, let's just start doing some of this because normally we do this a little bit later on, but you know, we only need one Twitter account, which is Gregor Truck, because he seems to aggregate. He's sort of the the prime aggregator, and there's some fronts that have been either not quite fitted out or damaged, or they were surmising that they might have been used for crash tests, but they're not really damaged. And yeah, it's never get sick of looking at that sort of stuff. I think there's some more videos of, there's just Cybertruck stuff everywhere. Look at that. Look, I mean, you're gonna have to get your microfibers out and scrub your Cybertruck because look how dirty it gets. All the fingerprints. Kids will love it.
Cool.
And I think he's got videos as well. There's 3 Cybertrucks on a truck. And another truck with Cybertrucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just Cybertruck City.
Did he have the Cybertruck being pulled by the Tesla Semi?
Ah, yes, got that one too. It's a little bit further down. Oh, actually, oh man. Of course, what's this F-150 doing? Is it trying to look like a Cybertruck, or is a Cybertruck trying to look like an F-150? Can't tell. Okay, I'll have this. What did you say, Nigel? You wanted the being towed by a semi.
The
Yes,
Semi towing a Cybertruck on the.
semi towing a Cybertruck. Oh, yeah, I think this is it. Oh no, it's not.
There's nothing on the back of that one.
Keep
No,
going.
there's yeah, no, that's it. It just keeps looping. Hang on a sec. Let me just try again. There definitely were images of it. This is not making for great TV, by the way.
No.
But
Sorry.
anyway,
We
and we've got a few.
understand.
I know we're not exactly getting. Yeah, we're not high budget. And this is a little sneak peek of the Gigafactory where there's a section of wall that they're sort of tearing down. I think this is at the end of it, and there's something in the boot there. I don't know, something. Actually, there were some images that were good that were possibly alluding. Oh, this is good too. This is a Cybertruck testing its traction. This little bit here, this is in New Zealand. This is like an icy section of the snowy road, which is super slippery. And if the thing you see next is a Cybertruck going slightly sideways for a fair bit. And then he corrects. So as soon as he hits the slippery bit, there goes the traction. And I think they deliberately slope it so that it's sort of off camber and off everything, so it really affects the cars. But we're still looking for the. So, oh, by the way, no. There's. I might as well just scroll through like that. There's obviously Cybertrucks with covers.
Oh yeah.
There's the factory. There's your frunk, which is seems a little bit small, but
That'll
I'm
be
sure
good enough.
it's good enough for a set of golf clubs or a body or something, whatever. Um, and we've got some. I can't find this one unless someone wants to post it up. Um, there's more winter testing.
That was
Oh,
okay.
there it is. There it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's there. So there's the semi towing. Whoops, there semi towing a Cybertruck.
Yeah. There you go.
But I think that video eventually, and there's another shot of it there too, which is pretty cool. Which that gives me a thought. Anyway, um, that would look awesome on a convoy. Anyway,
No,
enough of that. Otherwise, it
Yeah.
get too boring. Except for those of us that are into Cybertrucks, and then of course
Yeah.
it's always exciting.
So no one's excited about the standard range Model S and Model X, that isn't coming to Australia.
It isn't coming to Australia
No.
anyway.
I must
It's
admit,
like
like I was
they're rubbing it in on you, boys, isn't it?
That's
I was
right.
kind of scraping for news, and then I did the right thing and looked up the Canadian website to get the kilometre difference. So it's basically 130 kilometres of probably practical range because they quote the EPA, which is a little bit more realistic than our WLTP or NEDC or whatever. Um, and it was 13,000 Canadian dollars or 15,000 Australian dollars difference, which is a big difference, and it's software limited.
Mm.
And
Has
the
that
last time
has
they
that
had.
has that been confirmed, or is
Yes.
that
Oh,
just
yes. No, it's been confirmed. Initially, it was theorized, and I even sort of did it myself when I looked at the weight. So that the long range, is it called long range now? I
No,
forget.
it's
Yeah, I
just
think it is.
it's
Yeah, long
just
range. No, there's a standard range, and then I think there's a long range.
Mm.
The weight of those were identical, so therefore they hadn't short filled the pack. But then apparently, whether it was Teslarati or someone had approached Tesla and then had it confirmed, and then they'd rung 3 different retail outlets, showrooms, and they also confirmed it was software limited. But apparently, Tesla states there's no intention to provide an upgrade path. And the last time they had software limited batteries was when I bought my wife's Model S, and I actually bought her a 60 kilowatt hour Model S, which was actually a software limited 75 pack. And then very quickly I upgraded it back to the 75, which is probably what Tesla wants. If you can't afford it, give them the low price, 10,000 US dollars off, and then charge them 11,000 later or 12,000 later to unlock it.
You'll charge them 10,000 for the battery update, and then another 2,000 for the performance improvements.
Yes,
for the inverter, it's
exactly.
exactly the same.
And
So it's software limited performance as well.
yes, oh yes, it is. So it's 3.8 seconds from memory. If I remember the image, I'll just bring it up.
Yeah.
And to do that, I just got to bring up Canada because it works better because they speak the same language as us. Vehicles S, and it's 3.8 for the slowest version, which is the software limited standard range.
Mm.
And then, sorry, for Model S, it's not long range. It's just Model
No,
S
they just call it the default.
Yep, 3.2 seconds. I mean, that's a rocket. That's faster than all the performance threes and Ys. 3.2 seconds for mum's taxi for a soccer mum's going to the semi-final of the Matildas in England, and
that's
you
what
could just
that's
do
what
it.
that's what the Y is for.
That is
Yeah.
true. And then the plaid, well, then that's just ridiculous. But anyway, but yeah, so it's all software limited. So
So
yeah,
it'll charge like a monster up to 100%, you know, and it won't be limited to 80, and you know it'll just be great.
and to be honest, you know, when I upgraded my wife's so-called 60 to the 75, you really don't get more daily driving because the great thing about the 60 that was software limited is you could charge it to what they called 100% because that
Yeah.
wasn't 100%, and that's
right.
awesome. So hands up, or anyone has freshly gotten 2023.26.7 or 6, and you'll all have woken up with your recommended, if you're a long range car, your recommended daily charge limit is 80%.
Yeah.
I've got less
So-
range than my wife's Y.
I know, and it's just disappointing.
Why have they
and-
done that? Do you know?
They must have worked out that it's good for the pack to do that.
Yeah, to encourage you to look after your battery.
And
Honestly, for suburban daily driving, it's a good choice.
yeah, well, yeah, it's just a shame that if you call the car a long range car, I guess it is on the open road at 100%. It's a longer range than the standard range, but you almost need like an asterisk that says it's not a daily driver longer range car, because if you strictly treat it like a daily driver, yeah, the standard range Model Y that I had previously had 428 Ks at 100%, and now my, albeit a performance, shows indicated 380 at 80%. Actually, has anyone in the room got a long range Y, just a standard long range Y, not a performance? Is there anyone? I know there was a gentleman
Yeah,
that bought.
Yeah, I've got one.
Oh, John. So, do you know at your 80% what your car gets?
I literally only did the update last night, so I've got to test it out, you know. So I'll let you guys know next week.
Yeah, cool. Because I think in the old days you used to be able to change the slider, and it would actually alter. It would show you what the range was, but I don't think it does that anymore.
It doesn't do that anymore.
Oh, that is such a shame.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that
that
was
is such
good.
a shame.
Because then you could check what you had at 100%.
Mm.
Now
Yeah,
you just do a
exactly.
little math and work it out.
Yeah, so John, please let us know next week.
Yeah.
I'm all but certain it'll be higher than 380 because I've got a performance car and that has a rated range that's less, even though I've now put aero wheels on it, so it kind of should be the same. But the charge meter doesn't show any different range, even though you do get more
Yep.
range. But yeah, that'd be very interesting to know, John. And
Yeah, I'll
also,
give it. You could work it out. You just bring it up on your phone, like, and just switch between your percentage and kilometers, and then we could work it out.
Oh, yeah, that's
I could work it out
actually,
for
John, is your car at 80% at the moment, by chance?
No, I think it's actually over 80%.
Ooh,
We
Amar.
just charged it last night. No, we did the charge last night, so
I know that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Before you do your upgrade, it's perfectly okay to be at 90. Suddenly,
Yeah,
after
yeah.
your upgrade, it's like, don't do that.
yeah. But I have got the amp changes on the plug, which is good. So
What's
Yes.
your so what's
So
your
what-
what's your percentage?
what is it? It's still got the charge limit at 90%. I haven't got it plugged in at the moment, but it
No,
does
that's okay.
say 80% recommended for daily driving.
Yep.
Still says I've got 428 Ks.
So you got
82%. I'm at 80.
four-
I'm at 82%, and it says 428. If you can see,
428. So you got a.
Yeah.
Does that mean at 100% you got
Sure.
521 Ks? That should mean at
So 417.
417 or 418 at 80%. Yeah,
At
right.
80%.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my car says the performance cars say 380. So you've actually got 37 or 38 k's more range.
At 80%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. But the thing is, to sort of, as following along on Ken's theme, yeah, look, the long range cars really are still awesome. The power is superior, and on a road trip you can fill them up more and take them for a longer single drive, and that really is a great feature. And you can upgrade their power. Actually, can anyone do a power up? Sorry, John, I'm going to pick on you tonight.
That's all right.
In your Tesla app, if you go under upgrades,
Yep.
do you have a power upgrade available?
There's a software upgrade which is only enhanced autopilot or full self-driving capability.
Yep.
That's it.
And you've
There's
got
no
no
other upgrade,
acceleration boost or anything yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Cool. No worries. Because that's something that will come. I think don't the threes have the acceleration boost?
Mhm.
Yes. Yep. So long range 3, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So presumably the long range Ys will get that boost in the fullness of time,
Okay. Cool.
and that'll make it even more compelling.
Bloody impressed with it so far. So
Oh, they drive like rockets. They really do. They are rockets. I mean, even the standard range Y at 0 to 100 at 6 seconds for an ICE car, that not many standard ICE cars could do that.
it's a great little car.
Absolutely. Alrighty. And has anyone else got any other comments or questions?
Harold, Chris,
Chris, yes.
just question about the fan under the bonnet and when it comes on and when it doesn't come on. I was washing my car out in the sun the other day and I could hear this buzzing and got into my car and discovered that it was cooling the car down inside. So I turned the climate control off and closed my car door and started washing the car again. And about 10 minutes later, the fan came on again. What's that all about?
Yeah. So what?
Overheat.
No,
Sorry?
it's no. Once you've had the car on for a while and the aircon's been on, and therefore the evaporator, which is the thing that gets cold, it gets moisture build up. And what Tesla have learnt from prior experience a few years ago is it's a good idea to actually they'll run the fan on fresh air and effectively pull fresh air across your evaporator in your car, the bit that gets cold and is wet, to dry it out. So and they'll do it for 15 minutes ish, something like that. It's usually then it's after you arrive home or you park somewhere, and it'll just do this purge cycle of fresh air to dry out the aircon system so that you don't get any musty smells.
I reckon there's a
Got it.
better than even
Excellent.
chance if you're out in the sunshine washing your car, you'll get cabin overheat as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it'll do fresh, and I think isn't the first version of that where it just pulls fresh air initially to save power, and then in fact that's a setting you can actually set under. I think it's safety features.
I
Yeah,
think it is safe.
Yeah, okay.
you can turn off cabin overheat, I think, or you
Yes,
can
and-
turn it to fan only, or you can turn it to whatever it wants to do, like fan and aircon.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that.
No worries. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with your awesome car. It's just totally normal. And the great thing is it'll stop the smells that some cars used to get in the olden days. And Tesla had a devil of a time trying to get rid of it. Now I might as well shoot off all my stuff at once. There was another little bit of kit. It's nothing that's of real interest to us per se, but it still shows that Tesla is innovating, and that is their universal, what they call a universal wall connector now. And that goes like this. it's really just a little bit like their Magic Dock for superchargers. Basically, you can, if you push on the J1772 button, which those ridiculous things have, it unlocks. Or on the other hand, you can just pull without touching that little latch, and the actual standard NACS connector comes out. And I think it only costs about an extra $100 and something US extra, which is not too bad. I guess you could do a variation where this was still J1772 if you really wanted it to be, and that could be Type 2, and you could do a similar setup. But there's not that many people that own a Nissan Leaf in Australia that would care. But anyway, it's something else that Tesla's done that's a little bit new and shows they're innovating. And also being more magnanimous to the CCS/J1772 and NACS format in America. So they're just becoming more universal. So there you go. So that's all the content. Whoops. That's all the content I've got. So it's down to everyone else in the room to imagine some more content.
Yeah, probably one
Chris.
more question, mate.
Yeah, go,
Yes, go Chris.
Given the fact that I've only driven in the city and haven't sort of attempted a run down, say even to Bunbury, my car shows at 100% 438 because the standard range. Oh, sorry, rear wheel drive. Model Y.
428 is not 438. 428 it should be.
Just have a look right now. 435 is showing.
Oh,
435
okay. Yep.
at the moment.
Yep.
So what should I expect potentially if I, assuming I'm sitting on the speed limit, say even just heading down to Bunbury, what's a reasonable expectation given that from my house to the supercharger is around about 160 Ks. So is it a case of being ridiculous to expect to get there and back, or should I charge
no, you
down
can.
there?
You'll be pretty low. Look, when you get onto like when you drive around the freeway, around the city. So if you're on Tonkin Highway or Reed Highway or nice sort of tarmac roads, you'll get amazing efficiency. So you'll get 120 something watt hours per kilometre, which is actually even better than what Tesla sort of anticipates. But once you get onto the noisy road, so when you're going down the freeway, the Kwinana Freeway, and you get past Mandurah, and the road transitions to that chip seal of the Forest Highway, then I did an anecdotal thing where it was in the other end of the state, but it was a similar condition where it went from smooth to harsh, and I got 20% worse range on the rough stuff. So your car will easily, the standard range Model Y will easily get 350 kilometers regardless of sort of almost of any condition, basically, as a minimum real world 110 k's an hour, chippy road, maybe a bit of a headwind. So you'll easily get from home to Bunbury and back. But I mean, you might as well charge up at the supercharger at Eton. It's 50. It's the cheap one. Was it 40?
Yeah.
Is it 48 cents? I think it was.
What did I pay?
I think it's 48 cents a kilowatt hour. So it's actually really well priced. It's the cheapest supercharging in Western Australia. I'm just trying to find the map.
No. Oh, you click on that, don't you? There you
It's
go.
to find us. It's right here, and we're just in the wrong hemisphere.
It says idle fees, but it's not. Oh,
It says 60 cents per kilowatt hour.
Oh, sorry, apologies.
Yeah.
60.
yeah. Oh, it's on the.
No, it's on the
app,
car, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah, it was on the car, but it's just saying idle fees. It's not saying how much it is.
Well, it's saying that on mine. If I scroll
Whereabout?
up, it's saying
Scroll
charging
up.
fees 60 cents, idle fees up to $1. per minute.
Right.
Where's the? Yeah, it says.
Yeah, so you got it's a little bit fucked.
Oh,
Well, actually, it's
yeah,
not that
without-
faint.
Without clicking on it. Yeah.
Margaret River is 63 cents.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
can see
60
it.
cents, 60 cents for Bunbury. I think
Yeah.
it's which one's a cheaper
Lance,
one?
Lancelin and Carrot 59 cents.
No, it's Margaret River that's cheaper.
No,
One
that's
of them's
63.
That's 63.
63. Oh, those
Yeah.
those prices have all
So's
gone
Yeah,
up.
they
Williams.
changed. Eaton
Those
was cheaper the
Williams.
other day because I was down.
Oh,
at
very
Busterton
good.
the
So
other
Williams
day.
has gone up. That's interesting. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great because
Right.
that stops Teslas from using the WAEV network.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's actually news. That's my bad because that is news. That's
So
How
much
much is
is
the
the
WAEV network down there?
60 cents.
Well, that means they'll use that.
So that means they'll use it.
Oh no, sorry. I'm an idiot.
Ba-bong.
Sorry, baba. Yeah,
Having got
apologies.
Scottish blood in me, I'd be looking at that and going to the WAEV network one.
Yeah, but
That's such.
that's time
Yeah.
time to go get your pie or something. So I'm not going to waste time. I'll plug in.
Hang on,
Yeah,
I thought
thankfully
I
the
was,
woolshed.
I thought I was the Scotsman here. You know,
Yeah.
it's 3 bloody cents. You know,
Exactly. And you put in 30 kilowatts. I mean, you know,
that's a couple of Mars
almost
bars.
$1.
Yeah.
Yes. And actually, that's a problem. So that's really bad that Tesla's done that because I think they were actually cheaper in Eton. Actually, Eton
They were.
was a fair bit cheaper, and they've put the prices up.
When
Damn
was
it.
I there last? Yeah, because I was there last, and it was cheaper. 'Cause
Look,
it was-
hopefully, here's my little conspiracy theory. Hopefully, they're lining up to open up the superchargers to all EVs, and they're just
God.
trying to establish a DERA baseline.
need more.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Because then
I've
that would
only
also solve
ever-
the problem of tight Tesla owners hogging the WEV network, which would be fine if you want to arbitrage. And you're right. I think Ken mentioned, 3 cents. I mean, you look at people buying petrol; they will queue up down the road for just a few cents a litre.
Only stupid people.
It's a
Yes.
difference of 40 cents a litre today. 2 petrol stations as I drive past next to each other, $1.73 and $2.19. So it was more than 40 cents.
If I was at
$1.78.
if I was at the expensive one, I'd be getting jerry cans and filling up at the cheap one, and then dragging them across the road and filling up my bloody tanky things, whatever, the things that
I
leak
couldn't
petrol.
believe it. Why
Sorry,
would
I
they
just,
do that?
I just logged in, but for a second there, I thought I logged into the wrong
Forum.
wrong group. You guys
Ask us
seriously
anything
talking
about ice cars.
Yeah, only.
Yeah, exactly. This
I've
is
only
ice
ever-
cars. I like my V8, mate. I like the noise.
That's right. Until I can drive 14,000 kilometers without stopping, and
Yeah, exactly.
Towing a
in a
10-ton
boat.
caravan.
towing a 10-ton caravan and a boat. There's
Yes.
no point me getting an EV.
Yep.
Yes, yes, I can see some plug share bitch inbound on there. At Williams. I'll have to start monitoring it so I can tag it on.
Yeah, so hopefully Tesla will open up the superchargers to at least the ones that aren't carrying up to all EVs, and then they can't get grumpy. They can just supercharge and it'll be okay. I don't know.
I just want more superchargers. When's the next
Yes.
one?
Well, we know Mandra's coming, so Alex, Alex was in the room. Alex is
He was
still,
in the
no,
room.
is Supercharger's in the room. There he is. There he is. Any
Hang on,
sign of that
excuse me.
illustrious, mysterious supercharger, Alex? Have you gone up and down Pinjarra Road or whatever? Insert name here, Ravenswood Drive or something.
Nothing to report yet. Still waiting. It's being pushed back. I know that much. Q4 is what I've been told. So that's
Which
according
year?
to PlugShare. No, not PlugShare. Tesla themselves.
Which year?
2023, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It-
I seem to
2000
remember the same
2017.
story going year after year after year.
Yeah.
It just changes by 1 year each time.
Yeah.
Pete,
So
you
where's
said
that one going to be?
Mandra. We don't know. The map, the pin's not it's just kind of, is it Pinjarra Road, Alex, or was it Ravenswood Drive?
It's Tom Pinjarra Road.
Pinjarra Road. But that
Somewhere.
could be just a generic pin they threw down. Peter Petrosky, you said that you thought we might have been in the wrong channel. Could have been something like this.
Someone's got a boombox, perhaps.
Oh,
Did
I didn't
was
have
there
that.
competition with that, or
I didn't share
supposed to be
it. I wasn't sharing
thought
it.
you just wanted to share the noise.
Oh man, 152 episodes, and you'd think this guy'd get some professionalism. Ah, seriously. Okay, we'll try that again. Oi, oi, oi. It's just not funny the second time
Just
round.
looking on the Tesla map, the Mandra one says opening 2024.
He's even got the down change. Very good.
Yes.
So someone said something about looking at the Tesla map. It was,
Yeah, now it says target opening 2024 for the Mandra location.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, right. Okay.
That's what I said, Alex. Which year?
There's a sense of deja vu here, but I'm just not going to go there because I'll feel sad again. But,
Do you mean in about episode, I don't know, we used to bang on about this in episode 10 and 11
yeah,
and
that's
12.
right.
That
that's that Perth supercharger that was coming in 2017.
Yeah.
and 2018
that we
and
don't have-
2019.
that we still
Well,
don't have.
technically, it still hasn't come because
No, we don't have
they
it yet.
moved it
It's
from
still-
there
it-
to Carrinup.
It still
That's
hasn't
Still
right.
happened.
waiting.
No, when Carrinup was done, there was still another pin for Perth.
Yeah, yeah.
And it still hasn't come. But anyway.
24, maybe.
Speaking of Kings Park, I drove past a little while back, and it was getting closer. Is there a commissioning ETA for Kings Park?
It's getting close. I went there yesterday, and the electricians were working on it still, and I saw that they were late. Oh, not them, but other people had
Yeah,
laid
there's-
a couple of pavers.
Yeah,
So
there's
I
some
think they're
stuff going down.
yeah, they're waiting. I guess they probably can't really commission it until there's pavers and all that sort of stuff. Otherwise, well, you can't just drive a car on it if there's half pavers, half not. So it's obviously going to be soon. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm leaving on Sunday morning, and after that, I don't care. But
Yeah, well, at least UWA has a functioning charger again now, whereas
oh yeah, tell us about that charger, Ken. So
the BlackBerry, Juiceberry, whatever it is, it's not too bad. It's significantly better than the Siemens one that was there before with the short cables that didn't quite work.
so does it look like this? It's a
Yeah,
very large touchscreen.
That's the one. It's just got a big TV on it, and apart from the fact that you have to press the buttons in Blueberry, you have to press the buttons in WeVolt about 9 times before it starts charging. It actually gets pretty good performance.
And look at that, 174 kilowatts. What have you gotten most in your car? Because that looks like a. Oh, we don't know.
Oh, the
That's
car
just a
the car
generic
logo
car,
is
isn't it?
just generic.
Right.
I've got above 150, but I didn't arrive with particularly low state of charge. I just wanted to see if it was up and running, and I haven't got my
Yeah,
phone in front of me,
right.
but yeah, it's good. It's good to have it back online because the RT50 at UWA at University House is still stuffed.
Right.
So for a while there was nothing at all. But
So Ken, you were saying you're getting 100. You
getting
sure it's
around
150?
getting close to that. But
Yeah, right. Because this is saying output current of 300 amps, and that should really be more like 110 kilowatts
definitely
on a
not
Tesla.
more than that.
Maybe they're
could
doing
be
a bit of
having-
a Tesla where they push the current a bit harder initially.
I think they possibly are, yeah. But yeah, it's nice to have another DC charger in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
how much is it?
It's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
They've got a split rate.
Oh,
If you're a
you're
commercial
joking.
operator, it's more expensive.
15 cents per kilowatt hour.
Yeah, for non-commercial use. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right. Wow.
God, that's going to get smashed.
It will.
Yeah, especially for all the Ubers. Which, yeah, and you get a 25 cent per minute after 30 minutes. So don't.
Well, you say that, except that at the moment it appears to be programmed to automatically stop charging at your time limit. So you can't actually get idle fees because it'll actually stop charging. So
If you stay plugged in, it might give you idle fees and can perhaps.
I'm not certain if it can detect, but because I immediately got an email from WeVolt saying my charging session had ended. Because I was talking to someone on the phone at the time, and it just
Yes, you were. There's wheels within wheels.
yeah, quite. But it would be really nice if the RT50 was fixed as well, but I don't know what the story on that is. I think they're waiting for parts, which is the standard Shitium story of those chargers.
So yes, I think it doesn't even. They haven't actually bothered to say, but yeah, it's. Someone's resorted to taking a photo. Oh, that emergency stop's seen better days.
Somebody's got violent with it.
Got a bit frustrated. Yeah. Out of order. Problem has been reported. Oh, that was on the 16th of July. That photo was taken.
And that's still the case today.
Yeah, right.
Which is a bit
Well, it worked
sad.
in December, but anyway. Yeah, it is a bit sad. Why can't they just work all the time?
Yes, Kings Park will be nice. Can't wait.
Yep, right opposite Zamia Cafe. So if you can get a charge when there's an EQC and Mercedes Audi e-tron that's getting free juice for 3 or 4 years after they buy the car.
It might peel some of them off West Perth, so that would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the main point of Synergy putting the EV charger, the WEV network charger at Kings Park, was to establish a clear string of pearls that's unbroken with a no more than 200 kilometre gap. So really, it was done for that. Oh, JPL, you've got a bit of noise in the background. If you want to, we'll just cool.
Yeah.
And Harold,
yes,
there's a question in the chat from Ashish.
Ashish, can I borrow a Type 2 cable if it's available? I'm planning a trip down south this weekend. Well, that's a very online way of doing it.
Are you a member?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point too. So if you are a member...
and depending on where down south you're going, it may be a bit of a waste of time.
Ashish, whereabouts are you going, if you don't mind? Like what region are you going? Just so that we can plot this out on PlugShare.
Margaret River, you don't need a Type 2.
Oh, Margaret River. Oh, no. So actually, Margaret River in particular is really good because not only do you have the supercharger at the Woolworths at I think it's called the oh God, I forgot
the
what
village.
It's called now.
Yeah, it's
the village. Yes, the village. It's actually got. That's not that accurate. If you look in your car, it actually has.
In standard PlugShare, there's 2 separate pins: one pin for the supercharger and one for the HPWCs.
Gotcha. I didn't zoom in. No, it's not. There isn't one, Ken.
There used to be because because the HPWCs are open to everyone. So there's a couple of Ionics down there that use them pretty regularly.
So I've got CCS Type 2 and Tesla. I haven't got ordinary Tesla. Sorry,
turn Tesla on. Yeah, there's a second pin.
Yeah, cool. So there's actually 2 HPWCs which are tethered.
There's 3 of them, I think.
Oh, 3. Sorry, Ken. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So there's 3 of them, Ashish. So what that means is you can literally drive your car from Perth directly to Margaret River. I presume your car's, well, even if it's a standard range, it's at 100%, which is what you charge standard range cars to, and even at 80% of a long range car, you will get to Margaret River non-stop. What you can do is top up quickly at the supercharger for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, at Margaret River. Once you get to Margaret River, if you want to do accommodation and side trips and stuff, you just top up quickly for 20 minutes at the supercharger, unplug, and then plug into the destination charger, and you can leave it there for a few hours. The pro tip there is the destination charger is free. So I guess there's a bit of an economic imperative just to charge slower. And yeah, and you've got Eton along the way, you've got Treendale, near Bunbury. And yeah, really, if you're mainly hanging around in Margaret River, there's no need at all for a Type 2 cable. And there are some of these wineries, not Gilgara Retreat, there are a few that have got Porsche destination chargers, which are also tethered.
Yep.
I think Woodlands, yep, they do. They have a Tesla
They've got
destination charger.
HPWC. Swings
Yep.
and Roundabouts has got a Porsche, and I think Voyager has a Porsche.
Swings and Roundabouts a little bit higher up, isn't it? Stormflower. Oh. No, it's further down.
Have you got it turned off?
No, I've got it on. Got Type 2, we got Tesla.
Oh, that's weird.
That's it. Swings and
But yeah, Swings has got a Porsche charger, and there's a couple of other ones around. But pretty much everything down there is tethered. There's very few locations that I think Voyager might be a Porsche as well. I know that's got a Tesla.
That's Tesla. So I think you'll find that you really are well catered for, Ashish. And yeah, you've got a standard rear wheel drive, so you'll get high 300Ks non-stop. So yeah, you could just go all the way to Margaret River, not even stop at Eton. But one recommendation is if you're going on a road trip, after about 150Ks, your bloater wants a break. And Eton's a great spot to do that, even just for 10 minutes. And you'll be surprised, in 10 minutes, you'll get more than 100Ks of extra range. And that's the time it takes us to walk to the shops, have a wee, get a drink, go back to your car.
If you're heading down kind of Pemby or that direction, then a Type 2 is handy because a couple of the sites down there have Schneiders. But Margaret River region, it's pretty much all tethered, so you'll be good.
Yeah, I've stopped at Eton, plugged in, walked into the loo, gone to queue up for a coffee, and my app's going, "You're about to finish charging." I haven't had my coffee yet. Too bloody quick.
And when you're at the woolshed, you can't even, if it's lunchtime, you've got zero chance of finishing your meal. You have to just stop eating your meal, pause, go to your car and unplug it.
Or charge at the 7 kilowatt across the road.
True.
Can I jump in and ask a question?
Yes, Richard.
No, Rich.
I read this on Tesla Model 3 and Y Australia a couple of days ago from Chan Yang Yu. Hear me out. Those of you who have some referral credits to spend, here are some items, credits for purchases and cash and the cash cost. Anyway, it goes on to say that you can see the acceleration boost at a UMC and HPWC are the best value redemption. And it's stating here that for 6,000 credits, I can get a UMC. Does anybody know if that's the truth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
it just only.
Go on.
Sorry, Richard. You go. Sorry, you go.
A friend of mine has just put an order in. He's getting it soon. The next thing, and it's the old Tesla stretch. He had to get a wide model wide, and he's going to get the $3,500 credit. Apparently, there's a few left, and he doesn't get a charger. I had 3 UMCs. I sold 2 of them. So I've got mine, which I never use except if I go country. So he's borrowing my UMC. But if I can get one for credit, I'll just give it to him.
Yeah.
So if that's, how do I go about doing that?
Once you get the points, you can look on your
in the loot box on the app.
I've already got some points, but not enough. But when these come through,
I think
once he's taken delivery of the car, then the points will appear in
I've already got someone's used my code, and I had 10,000 points, but I spent some on getting some supercharging. Not realizing that I could spend it on something else.
It's let me just
So you've spent, so you don't have another lot coming in, or is
I will when his car comes in a week or two. Yeah,
it's 6,000 credits.
So I can, and that's okay. I looked today and I couldn't see that. It only had the American one.
No, it's under accessories.
Accessories.
And then you scroll.
And by the way, I've got 0 points because I don't do referrals, and it still shows up. I just can't buy it. Nothing happens when you I can't redeem because I've got nothing to redeem it with.
The next thing is that I suggest you just gets a UMC and goes 32 amps. So I bought a tail that didn't have the plug on the end of it. Right. So someone go on, Harold. You're pulling a face.
It's all right.
It's got issues.
Just for home?
Yeah, okay. Just anyway, forget my grimace and yeah, keep going.
I was going to say, because the only reason he'll ever pull more than about 20 amps is if he's got excess solar on Charge HQ. He's only got a small solar system, 6 kilowatts. So I said, basically,
if he's on single phase, then that's great. If he's on 3
it is
phase,
single phase.
it's an awful solution.
Okay, why is it an awful solution?
Because a house is limited to 32 amps 3 phase, 32 amps per phase.
Well, that's interesting because my house, when I put the the Tesla connector, I got both because I was an early adopter, right? I put the wall thing on single phase, 7 kilowatts, and then I put some more solar on the roof, so I changed to 3 phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I left the charger; they didn't touch the charger, so it's still on single phase.
Oh no, the electrician should have. To be honest, and I don't want to dob the electrician in. They should have done a load balance analysis.
It's been working for, I don't know.
Yes. In fact, I got my meter changed. I used to have a Whirlybird meter, and now I've got a flash digital, remotely measured, tells you everything you do every half an hour. And the electrician that was changing it, I actually asked him, what are the value of my boundary fuses? And he goes, 80 amps. So I can pull 80 amps into my house before those fuses will think about blowing. But Western Power very diligently tells you that the allocation that 3-phase houses get is 22 kilowatts, which is 32 amps per phase.
Yeah.
So by definition, if you draw 32 amps on red phase or blue phase, and anything else in your house is turned on, a third of those circuits will be on that phase. So you'll be actually going over the technical allocation. You won't necessarily be going over what your boundary fuse is capable of doing. And I'm pretty certain that your boundary fuse would have been sized to the cable that came into your switchboard. So, but actually, Richard, if you only just recently changed to 3-phase,
oh no, that was maybe a year ago.
Your main switch should actually be a 32 amp 3-phase circuit breaker with just a red handle.
Yeah, no, it was about a year and a half ago, whatever, I don't know.
Which means if you actually, well, it would, because with your solar running, have you got single phase solar panels or 3-phase?
Single. Oh, and I've got a 3-phase Fronius
inverter. So that could be helping, because the 3-phase inverter, because you only charge during the daytime, because that's when it makes sense.
Yeah.
Even if you were blasting it into the car at 32 amps, as long as your inverter was producing a few amps per phase, that's probably enough to not pop your circuit breaker.
So anyway, back to Kevin's situation. So I'm suggesting he runs the mobile connector. I've put a mounting on the wall today. It's got a 1 meter tail, not a silly little 30 centimeter tail. And going to get someone did this online, just have the isolator switch going straight into the tail.
When you say the tail's got no plug on it, is that right?
I bought it with no plug. It's just the Tesla fitting and bare wires at the end, 1 meter. They didn't have the short ones. Cost $100.
There's only one issue.
So where's the temperature sensor going to go?
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Weird.
That's very weird, because the modern, everyone that's got a Model, everyone's got a Model Y and a Model 3. Anyone that buys a new UMC, it's got the tail, the unpluggable tail, right? It's got the standard tail.
What about the orange ones? The orange ones, the 3-phase ones that we've all bought.
No. Yeah, they have. Yes, but they've got the temperature sensor. So that the modern UMCs, their tails have a digital. It's a memory chip actually with a built-in temperature sensor, and the chip actually tells the UMC to tell the car what to draw, what the tail is plugged into, or what plug has been mounted to it, and it also measures the temperature of the plug in general. So if it gets too hot, it'll shut down. So if you bought something with just bare wires at that end, I don't know where the temperature sensor is, unless they've just gone, we're just going to put the temperature sensor in the head that connects to the UMC or something weird.
You know the EVSC tail, the one with the three-phase plug that we've all
Yep.
bought aftermarket to
Yep.
when you're traveling. Is that got a temperature sensor in it?
Yes.
Yes, it
It's
should.
got a chip
should
in it. It's
have-
got like
yeah.
it's. I used to make up. I went to the States, bought a Holland and Nema 1450 tails, which were 32 amp or 30 amp tails, and hacked out the temperature sensor, and then mounted that in a Clipsal 3-phase 32 amp.
I think
plug.
I think I know what's going on, Harold. Inside the plug, I mean, the tail at the opposite, the wire end, the bare
Yep.
wire end, it's got 3 wires, and
Yep.
it's got a black and white wire with a little thing that's got insulation around. What the hell's
Yeah,
that?
That's the
what
temperature
that is.
sensor.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's built in. Right.
Yep.
Yep.
So
it's
normally
just-
that's meant to be inside the plug, so it measures.
Yeah, well, it
the
sits
ambient
next to the
temperature.
wires. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
Yes.
just, so it's
Yeah.
fine, it's safe. So
Yeah. So
Right.
as long as that lives inside, I guess inside the isolator, then it will detect any wiring issues in the isolator by checking the heat. Should be fine. Yep.
So that way he can just have it permanently mounted, and if he goes on holiday, he unplugs it, takes his 15 and 10s with him, and goes on holiday.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, and getting back to my Grimace, for a 3-phase house, it's bad.
Yeah.
Because it's not intrinsically compliant. And when you go on holidays, it can be bad. There are a couple of roadhouses that formed a negative opinion of, well, mainly Tesla's charging with those things, because in their opinion, it unbalances their generators, or can unbalance their generator, and that can be potentially bad for it, or at least they can believe it can be bad. And there are a couple of locations today that people that they don't let you charge there.
I've never used it. I've probably never.
So,
will.
one example is, according to PlugShare, Sandfire Roadhouse is not very positive towards EV charging using 3-phase.
Yep.
So, so that's the Grimace. It's 3-phase. By definition, it's kind of not really permitted. Single phase, it's fine, totally fine.
Cool. Okay, good. So it's just a more economical
But
solution.
yeah, but do go to your loot box and your redeem, and if you've got 6,000 points, or when you get your extra points for when the referral comes through, you could always do what many people are no doubtedly doing is spruiking for 100 points per completed test drive that you can refer someone to. I've heard it joked that people were going to go to UWA and sign up all these students, and if you paid a student a few dollars, you could then make a little bit of money. You say, "Hey mate, I'll give you $2 if you just book yourself a free test drive in a Tesla for half an hour, and you can do whatever you want with the car for that half hour. And as long as you use my referral code to book the test drive." So the seagulls are out. And I think it was mentioned about, you can get an acceleration boost. Actually, I don't know if that was...
Yeah, there was one.
I think that's the one that's one of the most valuable items. I've heard it said by some of the European...
35,000.
How much?
Right.
35,000.
That value might have changed because in Europe, apparently, according to some of the Tesla owners, presidents of the different European clubs, some Europeans are paying 500 euros for someone to use their referral code to buy a car. Because in their estimation, even by paying someone 500 euros, it's still worth it for them to use the referral code.
Wow. Wonder how long this is going to go on for.
Oh, I was
Don't
pretty
cost so
sad
much longer.
when they brought this back.
It's never going to end, Richard. They're gonna work out that it's counterproductive, and all the YouTubers are gonna get another pile of Roadsters or UMCs or HPWCs or whatever, and then they'll can it for a bit when times are good, and they can't make enough cars, and then maybe times will be a bit lean again, and they'll bring it back again, and everyone who has lots of referrals will celebrate and say they should have done that the whole time. It's just
I
anyway.
can get my mate a free UMC. I'll be happy about that.
Yeah, no, that's good. And obviously, anyone watching this video, if you're just sort of interested in buying a car, if you don't know a Tesla owner, which these days is going to become harder and harder, do go to tokwa.org.au. Just look at our menu, and there's a random referral generator. And what it does is that financial members who have paid their $20 per annum subscription to Tokwa can elect to put their referral codes into the pool, and they are literally, every time you reload that page, it will literally randomly select a referral code page or a link, and then to buy the car you just click on that link, and that's how you buy the car. At the moment you'll get your car for about $750 off, and I think you get enhanced autopilot free for 3 months if you use a code. And obviously using a code costs you nothing. And then the member who you happen to be randomly selected gets 10,000 points, I think. Yeah. So if you don't know someone, just go to the club's website. Alrighty, and of course, once you've done that, and you've got friends, you refer them using your code. In the normal way. And if you buy your wife a car, which is a very wise move, you can refer yourself or refer her to you. Alrighty. Any other questions or comments?
Then you could get your own UMC with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know a few people that have, referred their children or child and gotten the HPWC. I think originally it was 7,000 points, and then now it's 8,000. But either way, it's a good deal.
That's all right. Could always get it and then just sell it.
Yeah, absolutely. Although technically you're the warranty holder is the person that won the award, but anyway, these things are generally pretty reliable, so they'll last the whatever it is, the 2 years or 4 years of the warranty period anyway.
Sorry, Harold, just a question. Have we got any of those Cone 3-phase chargers available in Perth for sale?
No, unfortunately not. We have some to lend to borrow. Although we're actually a bit short because I'm waiting for a couple of. There was a gentleman that drove all the way from, I think, Brisbane, actually moving to Perth, and we sent one out to that gentleman, and he's returning one shortly. We've still got a couple of loan units, but we don't have any new stock at this stage, unfortunately. But you can actually find them. Weirdly, you can find them on Alibaba, not with Clipsal connectors. They're usually with Euro blue connectors.
Yeah.
Although actually that's only single phase, but anyway. But no, the club hasn't got any at this stage, unfortunately.
Okay, so I might come and borrow one if I can. Towards the end of the month, I'm just off to Kalgoorlie.
Oh, okay. You mean the end of this? When you say end of the month, you mean end of August?
End of August. Yeah, in a few days' time. By the 26th, I'm traveling up.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Let me just put my phone number in the chat. Ring me, Robbie.
Okay.
Because I'm leaving at Sparrows on Sunday. And I'm getting a cons back on Friday. So you can pick it up on Saturday.
Okay, that'll be great. You mean this Saturday?
Yes, because I won't be here next Saturday to give it to you.
No, perfect. Just tell me when. I'll talk to you on the phone outside of the meeting.
Yeah, just ring me, please. Yeah, you got my number in the chat. Alrighty. Anyone else with a question or a comment?
Yeah, I'll make myself sound stupid again, Harold. I was just having a look on PlugShare as you guys were talking and about Margaret River, and the village at Margs has got 3 Tesla connections, I believe. Now, having a look at the PlugShare page, it's showing 3 Tesla plugs, and my car's got a CCS2 plug. Does that mean I need to get an adapter?
No. So if you look on the actual, there are 2 pins. So you've got the actual supercharger pin and you've got the destination charger pin. So the destination charger is just the AC Type 2. It's tethered. That's not a great photo, but anyway.
What's confused? Sorry, Harold. I think that most of the confusion is that the PlugShare picture shows a NACS plug, which is not what it is.
Sorry. Yeah, and look, that's a fight. If Chuck's watching this, if Chuck normally or often is on, it does his head in, as it does all our heads in, that bloody PlugShare is so US centric, and particularly now they're bought out by Rivian, apparently. They refuse to have a European version or a Monique's version of the Tesla destination plug. So when you go into the plug section,
so the short answer is you don't need an adapter.
Yes, sorry, yeah. So that's right. Sorry, I was giving a bit of a Pete answer. This is what the Tesla thing looks like, and I'm not even going to say which Pete that is, so that the real Pete can't get offended. This
5 hours later.
But anyway, this is what Tesla actually has. That's just the symbol they use, which is very confusing. And this is also what the supercharger is. And it's just anyway. Sorry, that was Tesla on the right hand side. That's the Tesla supercharger, which is not what it looks like. It actually looks like this.
Okay, which is what it looks like on my car.
Yeah, so at Margaret River, you need no adapters or cables or anything. You've got an awesome dedicated supercharger, three supercharger stalls,
Thank you.
And then you've got 3 AC destination chargers.
Yep. So that's not a stupid question at all. It confuses lots of people because lots of people think the Tesla connector must be different, but it's not.
And by the way, if you want to get a caravan main socket, like you see here, you have a wall socket, which is your standard GPO. If you want a 15 amp caravan socket, you've got to select this stupid thing, which looks like someone that's yelling or going, ooh, it's like an emoji. That it's just stupid. And again, this is the inane.
I think that's meant to be a blue Euro, isn't it?
Something like that. But if you actually... So if we actually turn everything off except for caravan main sockets, they do actually appear. That's how you show 15 amp. There's usually some more around, but that's how you show 15 amp sockets. But of course, if you're an Australian, you would look at that symbol and go, "Oh no, we don't have that thing. Where's the 15 amp thing?"
Yeah.
But that's actually the symbol for a 15 amp outlet. Unfortunately, that's just how bad PlugShare is. Problem is you get what you're not paying for.
Good evening, Jared.
Oh, Jared's in the house.
Yeah, having a win tonight, eh? Good old England. Yay. Yay. England.
Stop your shirt colour.
England, oh, England.
Can we mute him, please, Harold?
Cup of tea, please. Cup of tea. Oh, fellas. Cup of tea, a scone. Oh, God, good fellas. There you go. How's that?
Gee, now I've got to turn the aircon on because it's getting hot here and all of a sudden.
Tragic.
Which 5-star resort are you at, Harold?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm just in a green screen.
That's what the room looks like before
next week I'll be on the road, so it's gonna be very not salubrious. Next week.
Next week, okay.
Yeah. I'll be somewhere in South Australia. Anyway. So apologies in advance for the...
You could use all those chargers that have appeared on PlugShare as you drive through South Australia. It'll be great. There's so many DC chargers there, man. You won't know how to do it yourself.
Oh, can you scratch that itch? I'm gonna have to
Oh no!
Like, how is it? Like, I'm gonna go across Australia, and I'm gonna go. Oh, look, Oh, Norseman. Oh, that's not ready. Well, Balladonia, that's only 20 kilowatts. Kaiguna's a 50 kilowatt tritium that's been changed already once. And oh, look, Sejuna is coming
Well,
soon,
that's
and
fantastic. So many.
Wudina and Kimber and Port Augusta, and yeah, and none of these are coming anytime soon at all. Not one.
You've got more chance of getting food poisoning on a dim sim.
Well, exactly. The only ones that are actually, one just popped up, which is really good, which was Mount Isa, which will be good on the further part of the lap. These ones are awesome, but yes, the clown that put these on, and every single pin has the same thing: RAA coming soon, and they just quote this website. So someone's thought they were clever by putting all these pins up and making themselves look important. And there's like a photo of an NBN fiber to the node box, which has got nothing to do with it. And they
he went to the trouble of posing a coffee cup on it though, so that was good.
Yes. Is it Starbucks? I don't know. Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, and actually, that's another. Since we're going to kick PlugShare, we might as well kick them properly. I mean, none of these pins have served any purpose whatsoever, because it just gives people a false impression that all this is coming soon, and soon is not in a year and a half time or 2 years time. Anyway, rant over.
Yeah, have a good drive. It'll be great.
Yeah, will it be a slow lap? It's going to be really weird driving slowly. So in 4 weeks, so 3.5 weeks, all I'm going to do is get to Darwin, and then
What's the reason for your travel, mate?
I somehow convinced my wife to do a lap, and she said, "Yeah, well, could we go along the Nullarbor? Because I haven't done the Nullarbor yet." And I went, "Yeah." And yeah, so we're going to do a slow lap. She runs out of time in about 3.5 weeks from when we leave, so I'll put her on a plane in Darwin, and she can fly back to Perth, and then I'll just finish the little short bit between Darwin and Perth. So, yeah.
And by then there will be more WA charges in, and so it actually would be quite good.
Oh yeah, I think it might be still a slow lap. I don't know.
Kununurra's due, isn't it? Or
let me just get the map up.
All Street was going to open, but someone stole the pin.
I thought the word was that Kununurra was one of the next Horizon ones off the thing, wasn't it? Or did I mishear that?
No, I don't know about that. I did see. Oops, I might as well just put this up because I just can't help myself. Okay, so yeah, I did see a post. I think it was David Lloyd took a photo and posted on Facebook about Warman. So the box at Warman has been installed, but not the canopy. And the thing with the canopy is, if I can just grab the canopy details, what the Horizon have done a pretty clever thing, and that is to they incorporate CCTV into and lighting into the actual canopy itself. So it's not just providing shade, it's also providing these are just renders. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, if we just go back up to the render. So it
what's going on?
How are you, Alex?
I'm well, Jared. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Very good.
Well, I think we're having a technical glitch.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Right.
It's not just me.
I think it was
just
key.
thinking.
No, I think it was what do you call it? Key logging, not key logging. It was key repeat, auto key repeat, and just going a little bit silly. But yeah, so basically the canopy actually
No, it's buggered.
No.
You're warping again.
I think there's an interaction with mouse scrolling and holding a control key. So it's going to stop any moment now in its own sweet time. But yeah, basically the canopy incorporates lighting and CCTV. So that's part of the security part of it, which, as Jared alluded to, in places like Halls Creek, Fitzroy Crossing and others, it's a good idea to have CCTV. And so we know Warman has been, the box has been fitted. What we don't know is when it's going to get commissioned. You know, Carnarvon has been installed for quite a while and is yet to be commissioned. So I guess that's an example of a box staying there for a long time, as is Jurien Bay, for a different reason. Jurien Bay is because of Western Power's independence. But yeah, Ken, I think, Warman's in. I think Port Karratha, I was talking to the guys at Karratha, they're putting Karratha in. I took photos of that, but I don't know when that's going to get commissioned. And bearing in mind, I'll be back hopefully by Wednesday, the 20th of September. So that's only a month away, you know.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in a month, but also a lot of things can get delayed in a month, you know. And if it's only late by a few days, you know, what'd be really cool is going from Perth to be able to pick up Merredin, Southern Cross, Coolgardie, Norseman, and unfortunately none of those are going to be ready by the weekend. But anyway, this time next year it'll all be done.
Yeah.
You know, and you will literally be able to drive from Kununurra all the way to Kings Park, all the way to Eupla, on an unbroken string of pearls. And if the WA government does the right thing, if they fill in Oski, Newman, Coomarina, Meekatharra, Mount Magnet, Paynes Fine and Dalwallinu on the Great Northern Highway, we'll also be able to go to Karijini and enjoy a nice loop. So rather than just going up the coast road and turning right at Nyanyatara, which you can do, and you go to Tom Price and Parabadoo and charge there and go to Karijini, you better do a nice loop and you know, go past Newman and overnight at Meekatharra and Mount Magnet, Paynes Find and even Dalwallinu.
They've got a 5-star resort in Newman, haven't they? How?
In Newman, I'm not sure about Newman, but there is a place. Is Rob? No, Rob's not on. It's where, what's the name? Hoover, not J. Edgar Hoover. Yeah, maybe it was that. No, sorry. He was a former president, and he had a mine at Sons of Gwalia. Sorry, he was the mine manager at the Gwalia mine, and I think it became Sons of Gwalia. And that house that he lived in is still there, right on the precipice of the open cut mine, which I think is now shut. So there's lots of touristy things to do on the Great Northern Highway. And in fact, if you drive south from Port Hedland towards Karratha, if you don't turn right, your default route is the Great Northern Highway, which I learnt almost the hard way because I thought, oh, what's that turn off? And then I realised that that's where I had to go. Luckily for me, I only went 500 metres down the road and not, 50 k's. So that's the default path, is from Port Hedland down to Perth via the Great Northern Highway.
We've all had a few default routes in our lives, that's for sure. We've gone a long way. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in an EV, if you take the wrong way and you've gone too many k's down the road and there's no charging, you're kind of in an awkward spot. And this is, this is more spam. That's the Gwalia ghost town, and I don't know if there's a photo of. Oh yeah, it's this thing. This is the edge of the open pit mine, and
is that Richard Cooper when he's younger?
What do you mean younger?
I was going to say, it looks like a rally of yours, Jerry.
Herbert Hoover, sorry, and he was later to become president of the United States.
Mm.
So yeah, go to Gwalia mine site, but of course you've got to do that up the Great Northern Highway. And at the moment we can't do that any easy way. Rob Dean has done it, but he's used mostly 15 amp caravan sockets with long overnight stays or short hops. So anyway, but yeah, thanks Scott for that. Alrighty, any other news or comments?
Just a quick question, Harold. Just wanted to confirm that the WA EV network the goal is still for the end of this year, and then the last 3 or 4 to the South Australian border by March next year. Is that still the timeline?
I think the official timeline was the start of next year for completion of everything as originally announced, which is everything except for the red bits, except for the Nullarbor parts, the Balladonia, Kaiguna Madura and Eucla. So that was the first quarter of next year.
Yeah.
Or it might have said February in one of it.
It was, sorry, you're right. It was initially by the end of the year, and then it was the start of 24. So
yes, but the 4 additional sites that they thankfully put in, I think they got given an extra 6 months grace period.
Oh, 6 months, was it? Okay.
I think. Right. I don't think it was really formally sort of flagged as that, as in fanfare, but I think it's approximately 6 months. The good news is that 6 months pegs it at this time next year.
Yeah.
So this time next year, if you did a lap, it'd just be awesome.
Except South Australia, didn't you say?
Except for South Australia.
And Northern Territory.
And the Northern Territory. But to be but to be honest, it's actually not. It's not so. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. It's not so bad because you've got most of Queensland. So if I just scroll out and just go back to Tesla, Fast, and CCS, if you're doing a lap, once you've got fast DC charges to Eucla, obviously that's super quick. Then you're not going to have Ceduna. There is actually a charger at Whyalla, and I recommend that anyone when they're doing a lap or even going over east, turn right at Iron Knob. So find Iron Knob and turn right off the highway, and go to Whyalla, because that's the Whyalla Veterinary Clinic, which is a privately funded Tritium RTM. And that's awesome to patronise that and to support it. And believe it or not, it actually gets you a faster trip. And then, yeah, we don't know how quickly or slowly the RAA are going to do their charges. But basically, once you get to Adelaide, then you're set, because you've got superchargers all the way around to Melbourne and everywhere else. And then the superchargers end at Gympie at the moment. But you've still got the Queensland Superelectric Highway. And then the great thing now is you can get to far west Queensland very quickly, because you've got Charters Towers, Hewenden, Julia Creek, Cloncurry, and Mount Isa. And in fact, from Mount Isa you can make it to Tablelands, which is the Barclay Homestead. And you can actually make that from Mount Isa, and then you just get an overnight stay. And then, yeah, the Northern Territory, it's going to be a little bit slow, but that only takes you a couple of days. And there is actually now a fair bit of charging, fast DC charging in Darwin now, with 150 kilowatt charges. And then from Darwin, it's only, you go to Katherine. If you overnight at Katherine, you then can overnight at Timber Creek, once you get to Timber Creek, you've gone past Kununurra, and then you're back into WA, which is awesome again. So, you know,
Do you think Horizon Power will be completed by the end of the year? Because they've still got a lot to do, haven't they?
no, not the end of this year.
I thought it was the end of this year.
No. Oh, sorry. Well, let's call it very early next year. So let's call it February next year.
Okay.
They will probably have completed most of the sites. Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad.
But you're right, Peter. Synergist completed 8 and Horizon Power only 1 so far. So
yeah, because they seem to be a bit behind.
Yeah.
I just wonder if they're going to catch up.
In fairness, they've already installed Carnarvon. They've already installed 2 at Exmouth, which is really strange. That's 2 chem powers, 2 150 kilowatt chem powers. They've been installed at Exmouth for some weeks now. Although they didn't have their canopy. Like I said, we've got confirmation that Warman has been installed. I know that Karratha is most likely installed because the pads were down when I was there, and that was weeks ago. I know that
but none of these are actually commissioned apart from Exmouth, is that correct?
No, the only thing that's been commissioned is Broome.
Right.
So the best way anyone can see, and this is how we do it, the best way you can see if there are any sites that are available is just to look on the ChargeFox app. And at the moment, and that is exactly when it's going to be live. If you look on the map, there is basically nothing in between Broome and Northampton. So the one where you see Shark Bay, that's the RAC resort, and you see a couple of pins at Broome. That's actually only one of those pins that's actually hidden is the fast DC charger. So if you want to know what the status of the WAV network is at any time, just look at ChargeFox. But be careful. So, for example, if you're on a road trip, and this is really important, this happened the other day to Manjimup. So so the other day, the Manjimup DC charger was out of commission, but the pin was still orange, right? So if I click on it, if you see an orange pin, it seems it's available. You've got to click and actually look, and that'll tell you the live status. Because a couple of weeks ago, the CCS2s, that was 0 out of 2 because they were offline. So if you go details, it'll actually tell you the status, the live status of all of the plugs. And that's important because unfortunately, if something is offline, if say the DC is offline, because there's a emergency backup AC unit, that pin will not change its characteristics. So don't get trapped into thinking it's okay when it might not be. So please, if you're on a road trip, do check each pin and check that your the DC units are working properly. That otherwise you might really inconvenience yourself. And it's just a great tip is where you are charging, always look at the next point to make sure it is functioning. Because if it's not, that's probably okay. Just make sure you then fully charge it where you are so you can leapfrog to the next one. Or maybe plug into the AC for a little bit of time while you're having a break, just to stretch that trip a little bit more. If ChargeFox were listening and watching, what I'd recommend they do is actually have a crosshatch. So you can see there are black pins. So you can see a black pin there. Now, again, this pin should be removed because it's at Merredin, and that has not worked almost ever, and it's never going to work. And that, unfortunately, that pin is persisting. But in any case, what they should do is if the DC unit, the fast DC unit's not working, they should actually have an orange pin with maybe black stripes going through it as like a warning that it's partly working but partly not, and that way it highlights it as being, slightly dodgy.
Absolutely.
Which would help. But in absence of that, please just each time you do a road trip, just have a look at the next pin just to see that everything is working, or whatever charger you want is working. If it says
browse comments,
yes, or look at, or as Bjorn Nyland would say, ABC, always browse ChargeFox. There you go. Even that works. But yeah, please do look. But if it says 0 of 2 and it says in use, that's fine. It means that there are a couple of cars charging, and of course, because fast DC charger, if you're an hour or two away, well, they'll be gone. So that's okay. But do look out in case it says something like, there's a problem, which can happen from time to time.
I've got a quick question. And it could be a problem. Is John wearing a onesie? Is that the lamb's onesie? The lamb, yeah, I think it is.
It's a nudie.
The same one. I thought I recognised it, that's all.
It's a Rottweiler onesie.
Oh, Rottweiler onesie. Oh, okay. Not the Dizzy Lamb. I thought it might have been the Dizzy Lamb one. Welcome home.
Harold, I think Roz is trying to ask a question.
I am.
Oh, Roz. Sorry, yes.
Hello.
Go, Roz.
Right. I want to ask a question about the map on the screen, because I recently went down to Margaret River, which worked really well because I get straight down there, charge outside Woolworths, and then get home again. So it was really a great pleasure after driving around in my Leaf and having to charge up everywhere I could find. So I'm loving my Model Y. But on the map, I wanted to be able to see the whole context of where I was going. And every time I put it up to see a much bigger area, it would go back to just one line on the screen, which was just the bit of road that I was on. And I wanted to have a much better context, and I couldn't make it stay. Can I do that somehow?
They refer back to your local area. It will expand and show a whole lot, but it doesn't take long before it shrinks back to cover your immediate area of interest, really.
Can I change that?
No, you can't. It's snapped back by itself. You can't change it.
Right.
You can only change it by persistently pressing that little icon that either changes it to the overview, which is like your little squiggly line, or the north up position, or the in your direction. You can also zoom out by pinching a zoom. So you pinch it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was doing. That's the only thing I knew to do. So I was pinching the zoom, but then it wouldn't stay.
Yeah, they'll mostly show you the initial route when you punch it in and search for it, and then they all shrink back to make it clearer for the local bit you're in. Otherwise, you've got.
I just wondered.
Yeah.
And even the north, because I much prefer north to be up, and so I found the bit that I can press to make north up, but it seems to change it back to whichever way it wants to go quite often.
I used to think it did too, but I think it was always the operator, because I know I'd ginned around with it on my wife had, and I hadn't noticed.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I think the north up. I think the north persists. I think that's one that does persist. I could be wrong though. I don't use north up because it does my head.
No, you can. You can override it. Yeah.
No, but Pete. But if you press just north up, right? So if you're going south, it means the arrow is facing downwards. Does that stay like that, or does it eventually go to first-person point of view with you driving along in a?
It stays that way.
Yeah, it's basically a toggle switch between north up or direction of travel.
Right.
The new Nissan Leaf doesn't have that problem at all.
No, because you can't undertake.
I've moved on from Nissan Leaf.
Yes.
Now,
the new Nissan branch called the new models coming out.
And the best part is, I bet if I asked Roz this question, hey Roz, do you miss your Leaf? I bet I already know the answer.
Well, my son has it, so which is lovely. So I get to drive it every now and then because he wants to drive the Tesla every now and then. So
no doubt.
So we still have it because if we could put a bigger battery in it, it's such a lovely car.
Yes.
Because, the only problem is it just doesn't go far enough.
Absolutely.
If you've got a trailer and put a battery in the trailer, you can plug it into the Leaf.
No, sorry. Not an option.
Now,
not happening.
very quickly, as a quick interlude, I was looking at John's Woody or whatever, and I was trying to work out where it was placed, but I think I actually worked out where it came from. The answer's been staring me in the face. So it's the perfect outfit for driving one of these awesome machines.
Sure is.
No, I thought he came from Shepparton. You know, the spotted cows they got in Shepparton. I reckon he's one of them.
No, it's even the same greys. It's perfect. It's got the white, the greys. It's got little black bits. It is just one of these. If John was in one of these, he would literally be invisible.
Yeah, an LD special.
Yeah. But yeah, Roz, unfortunately, the car, as awesome as it is, it just has its ways, and yeah.
Yep, that's okay. I just wanted to know if there was something I was missing, and I've gone through the tutorials and couldn't find anything, so I thought you guys are the next ones to ask. So thank you.
But I think if you do the overall view, you know, the one where it shows the whole trip, I think that persists for quite a while. That does persist for quite a while.
Yeah. So going down to Margaret River, I just wanted to see where the coast was and, you know, where I was in relation to other things. So.
Yep. I think that's the easiest one. If you do that little squiggly line, the whole map route, view, that obviously shows you the starting point and the end point, which should show you most of the rest of, you know, that area as well, especially on a longer trip.
But I don't think it shows you the location or the position of your car along the route. I think it just shows you the.
I think it does, Pete. To be honest, I think it's small. The icon is.
I think it would. I mean, that's the obvious thing that everybody wants. I'd be surprised if it didn't. So anyway, I should do more experimenting.
Yeah. Don't forget you can toggle between the Google Maps satellite view and just the map view. And
well, I've actually started doing the Google Maps satellite view, and I'm finding that a bit more satisfying, really, than the simplified road one.
Yeah. Along, you know, you pick up different, you know, different waypoints and different points of interest along the route. You know, you can pick out, especially on a long drive, you can, you know, see where the landing strips are, where, you know, the sand dunes are along the coast, and
and particularly with these new roads, with, you know, all the landmarks I've had all my life have now disappeared because they've changed the roads, and I'm going, you know, like I've lived my whole life with these landmarks, and now they're gone. Got to find some new ways of relating to the route.
Yep.
So, well, you might be able to pick them out on the satellite view at least.
Yeah.
And it can be interesting when you're in the middle of nowhere and you see like this farm that's got those center pivot sprinkler systems.
Oh yes, don't they look amazing? Even when you see them from the air, you think, what is that?
Yes, and they really are amazing. And that, I usually just have the ordinary simple map, because all of it, like in the city, it just does my head in having all the aerial, all the houses and all that stuff, and it's just too cluttered. But in the bush, it's great. It's really it's quite lovely. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm learning to toggle between them, which is useful.
Very good. But one thing to be aware of, though, Roz, and for anyone else in general, is Tesla is very supercharger centric when you go on a road trip or on a trip. And frustratingly, I've had cases where I've gone on a trip southwards, and I'm about 5k south of the river. And it actually tells me to go north to the Karrinyup supercharger to charge up before proceeding to go down to, I don't know, Bunbury.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, if you don't have a natural instinct of wayfinding and which way you should be going, if you blindly obey what the car says, and ordinarily that's a good idea because the car usually knows which way to go, but when you do a route just to a destination, you've got to be careful because it'll sometimes add in a supercharger session, which you can remove. So you just look at the overall image, and it'll show next stop is the Perth North supercharger, and there's a little blue button or blue text that you can press which says remove all charging stops.
Okay. Right.
Because it can be quite frustrating that you inadvertently get misled in the opposite direction, and that can be counterproductive and frustrating.
Very
It doesn't
frustrating.
do it
Yes.
as much now as it used to. It's improved a lot in that respect, I think.
Yeah, it still does it though, frustratingly. Look, once we've got, superchargers in Mandurah and wherever else, I mean, I think Pete wants one in Joondalup shops, probably.
Well, I
Then
was
it'll be a lot
delighted to
better.
find one in Margaret River. I really was. That was quite lovely.
Yes,
So
That's a beauty.
sure is.
it's really good, and the great thing is you can go to Margs directly from home.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's what I did.
it's great. Yep,
Mm.
yep, and it's so fast, and then you can just dribble on the destination charges right next door, which is great too.
Right.
So you don't have to feel pressured to have to move your car. So if you want to have a
Mm.
long lunch or something, you can just plug into the AC destination charger, which
Right.
incidentally is free. So there's always a bit of
Okay.
a
I didn't.
price.
Right.
That's a
Okay.
bit of a
That's good
price
to know.
signal there. So if you've got plenty
Mhm.
of time,
Yep.
you could spend a few hours gently charging, which is a
Right.
bonus.
Well, I'll be down there again next winter, so that's good to know. Yeah.
Well,
I'll
and the good thing
definitely.
is that Tesla, we know Tesla is doing a supercharger in Albany. So
Okay.
right next to, it's in the old Albany jail
Right.
precinct.
Right.
And that, we don't know when that'll be done, but hopefully later this year. That's right next
Mhm.
to the WEV network charger. And there's obviously going to be a supercharger at Kojonup.
Yes. Yeah.
As there also will be one of the WEV network chargers in Kojonup as well. So it means if you went down Albany Highway to Denmark that way, that's another route, and there'll be superchargers / fast AC chargers, and you've got
Yeah.
charging at Walpole, Manjimup.
That's great.
Margaret River
Yeah.
is going to get a WEV network charger as well.
Okay. Yeah. It's
So
really changing. It's lovely to see.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And it's just great. I mean, Roz, you did it really hard with the Leaf. I mean, what was your best range when the car was new? Was it 150
they
kilometers?
said 140, but it was really 120 that I could rely on.
Yeah,
And a good
So,
wind.
yeah.
Good wind
But that was
behind
fine. Yeah.
yeah,
And I mean,
Well,
my
that's
trip
why.
down to Yallingup was an adventure. I just wanted to, prove that
yes,
it could be done. So,
yeah,
But
yeah,
looking at it
Jared,
that way.
that's why it's called the Leaf, because you sort of need the wind behind you too.
That's right.
yeah. The leaf
Get
blower.
under your
Yeah,
wings
that's
and
called a
carry
leaf blower,
you.
Pete.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
No, we still love our Leaf. We use it for the right reasons, when it's a short
Yes.
trip. So,
Yeah,
Great technology.
exactly.
It's
No,
up
it's
there.
cool.
It's up there with the Holden Vault, isn't it? Mate?
The what?
The Vault.
Oh, the Volt.
the
Yeah,
car you
that-
keep because you love it. Right.
He loves his Vault.
Mm.
Nothing wrong with the Volt. The Volt's
Oh.
got 615 kilometers of range
Wow. Well, yes.
With petrol.
That's what it's been voted for in someone.
with a bit of cheating.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
cheating's when you get down to driving at 40 k's per hour, so that you'll get there.
Oh, yeah,
It's-
that's bending that's breaking the rules and bending them.
yeah. Yeah, but you want to get there, don't you?
True.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, like some people think that, internal combustion engine vehicles are really convenient and awesome and all that, great for long trips. I just heard on the radio, I think it was earlier today or yesterday, that a gentleman had a $150,000 F-150 all tricked out, and he was going across the Nullarbor, and he wasn't aware that his AdBlue had run out. That's the urea that is used to reduce particulates and whatever for their particulate filter.
Mhm.
And it put the car into a limp mode, which meant that no matter what he did, he could go no faster than 40 kilometers an hour
Oh no!
across
don't
1,000
touch the
kilometers of the Nullarbor
Oh
at
dear.
40 k's, and he couldn't reset the computer because he didn't have the OBD reset doodad. So he had to limp all the way to Perth, or maybe he got to Kalgoorlie. I don't exactly know, but he went right across Nullarbor, 1,000 k's, 40 k's an hour. He said you could rev it. Revving was fine, but as soon as it got to the speed, that was it.
Couldn't do it. Well, yes, the cars are getting to be a bit too autonomous, aren't they?
It would have been very popular when a truck got behind him.
Oh.
Nothing he could do. I guess he would have just had his hazards on, and the trucks probably knew what he was. Well, I don't know.
Well, at least if he had his hazards on, they'd go past him. Yeah.
And so, what was that again, Harold? Because
of the AdBlue, it ran out of AdBlue. So,
what do you mean it ran out of AdBlue?
Because the F-150, the diesel four-wheel drive requires you to put urea in it, AdBlue, AdBlue. And
so that goes separately in addition to the fuel, does it?
Yeah, there's two things to fill up, and you don't want to mix them. Don't want to get them confused. So I don't know when that first came out in passenger vehicles, or I guess you don't really call an F-150 a passenger. It's mainly in trucks, but it's also been introduced to larger four-wheel drives.
Yeah,
and it's to get Euro compliance, because you have to reduce the urea goes as part of the catalytic conversion of the particulate into CO2.
Where's Alex?
See, I just assumed that.
How you going? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. But Alex has gone to bed. He was hoping that you were going to be here tonight.
Okay, welcome to what was it? Perfect Match. Another episode of Perfect Match. So the AdBlue is it's just something that's creeping into a lot of smaller diesel engines. And if you don't have it, by necessity the engine goes into a limp home mode, because I guess it stops people from just never filling it. It's like a penalty.
Right.
So you can't have the petrol and the urea pre-mixed together?
No,
they're separate. No, the urea goes. Yeah, I guess it's drip fed, or I don't know how it's done, but it's added to the catalyst, or maybe it's dripped into the exhaust stream, or I don't know.
Yeah, right.
You'd have to Google it.
So it's got a separate intake for the.
It does.
It's got a separate tank. It's got a 10-litre tank, or 5 litre, whatever it is, an amount of AdBlue that goes into your vehicle, and if your engine management system detects that it's run out,
I
mean, I would have thought, if you could refill it, it would be okay. But he said this car went into like this limp home mode and could not be reset until it went to a mechanic or a dealer with the right thingy to tell it everything's okay. Yeah, maybe it ran.
It's presumably not something you have to refill every time you refill your petrol tank. That 10 litres presumably lasts for thousands of kilometres.
You need to top it up.
What's that?
You need to top it up when you fill up your tank.
Oh, every time?
Yeah, every time. Yeah. It's not something. It's not little. It burns quicker than that.
Yeah, okay.
You've got to put the AdBlue in there.
It's a bit inconvenient.
It's mainly for the Euro trucks. The newer trucks have got them. The other ones, like the Toyota that I had, and the Hino, they burn it off themselves. They do that burn off process. But the other ones, you put AdBlue in, and so
actually, so according to Ford, it's in the Everest. So it's the Ford Everest.
Okay.
The Ford Endura and 2-litre Transit, and basically it's automatically injected into the exhaust system, and it's actually not so bad. A tank will last between 12 and 16,000 k's.
There you go.
Oh yeah, so there you go.
And but obviously it's like anything. If you forget or whatever, then bad things can happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a status that, like, this Everest shows that it actually gives you a range in kilometres, so you need to refill
It
soon.
burns a bit more with trucks, Harold.
Oh, of course. Oh, yes. Yeah,
Trucks
exactly.
burns a lot more. So, like, that F-150, that would have burnt a lot more.
And look at that. Like, there's no danger of you ever putting it in the wrong thing if you didn't look at the colour properly. They're right next to each other.
Oh,
That's cool.
How many
Unless you
people put diesel into petrol cars and petrol into diesel cars? Every day that happens.
Yeah, it's funny because our cars are quite flexible. They take AC and DC.
That's really good, isn't it?
It's a punchline thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much for your help with my maps. So I'm
Yeah,
going
no
to
worries, Ros,
right now.
and it's
Nice
wonderful to
you.
see you. Yeah, it's great that you've come back every now and then. And look,
yeah.
I hope you just keep enjoying your car. It's just an awesome, wonderful thing.
I am thoroughly enjoying it, and so is the whole of my family. So, which is really nice. Good.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Need more of your family needs to buy Teslas and other
Oh
EVs.
yeah, look, Colin's waiting for the price to come down. The Leaf owner's waiting. He's poised there, ready to buy one when he's got enough money. So right.
Tell him not to wait too long because the $3,500 rebate,
Yeah.
there's 10,000 of them, and whether it lasts till Christmas is anyone's guess because the
Right.
Model Y is eligible for it now.
Yeah, it is
So-
now, is it? Right, that's what
Yeah.
it was.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of people out there buying, 5 or 6 Teslas and renting them out. And then
Whose
using
leg are
up-
you pulling?
No, that's
I haven't claimed a single one of those $3,500 payments, by the way.
No, I
So
didn't get
stick that
one.
in your pipe and smoke it, Jared.
That's right. Just say, pull the other leg, it's got bells on it.
That's it. That's it.
That's
Cool.
the case. Okay. See you guys
Excellent.
later. Thanks for your
No
help.
worries, Ros. Take care. Great to
Okay.
see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Harold, to get back to your earlier point about wanting a supercharger at Joondalup shops, at this stage, I would just settle for any DC charger north of Carrinup or Gwella.
Or 10-amp socket. You know what he's driving at the moment, don't you? Pete, with that same car that goes on the railway line with you, that you were driving the other day, that sports model. So he'd settle for just a 10-amp socket so he could plug his scooter charger in. Get a bit of power to get home.
Actually, he wants a scooter battery swap. That's what he wants. He needs battery swap stations every 5Ks. So Pete, that's another example of coming soon. This is the Alkimos
Yeah.
Butler or Butler Anaconda. Coming soon.
Coming soon for a very long time.
It has. The first check-in was December 2022. Still not open, and that's probably been quite a while. Even James has been there in 2022, and it's still no sign of that opening. And that's been installed for months and months and months.
Yeah.
So you're right, there is nothing north of Carrinup. Oh, well now you've got what the hell's that? Lollipops Playground, Ellenbrook.
Oh, that's a
I guess
gentleman's club.
that's
It's,
technically
it's-
north. That's
it's
the
new-
That's an ABB at the Bunnings. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. That's a pretty new one.
Yes. Yep.
I mean,
yeah.
that's sort of northeast, but I'm sort of mean along the coast, the metro area. I know Ellenbrook is technically metro, but you're starting to.
But Pete, can't you just use Geraldton? Because that's just near your house.
Oh,
Yeah? You should charge there, can't you? From
Oh, Jared, you're such a look that. Yes, Pete does live in South Geraldton, but look, we know that Lancelin is just over the back of his backyard. You could just throw a stone to
Lancelin,
Lancelin, and I
Lancelin's
mean,
nice.
Lancelin's awesome because there's a supercharger there.
Yeah.
If I can get this scroll to work properly.
If
And-
Lancelin wasn't so far off, I mean, it's not that far, but if he wasn't off the main drag, it'd just be a absolutely perfect.
Yep. Well, there's even 2 Teslas doing a 69. Right.
Is that a
right.
gay hangout there? What's going on there?
Well, that's how they hang out. That's the optimum position that Tesla has deemed
Is that a
these
drug
cars.
deal going down?
Sorry.
Is that a drug deal going down?
Well, the 2 people that went there probably looked like 2 drug dealers, but
Good for yourself, Harold.
Is there any bags on that front seat? No, nothing there. That's good. Yeah, so that's the Lancelin one, and that's just an awesome site. You know,
But see, that's a perfect photo there, Harold. See, if all you need to do, just go back to that aerial photo again, if you can, is just shave off those two brickworks of that stencil.
Yes.
That
Here.
Yeah.
If we could just even just chamfer, I mean, look at how much rubber's on that curb, and that was just normal people parking. That's not Teslas yet. Yeah, if we could just put a 45-degree chamfer on just even the grey part of the curb of the concrete.
Yeah.
If you're not doing anything, you can zip up with a brick saw and we'll just really good at cut, can't you? Give it a little trim down.
I think the problem is the council would probably know where to find us.
They've already spotted you.
They'd probably just go to YouTube and just do a text search for brick cutter or brick saw or something, concrete saw.
And they'd know.
And then they'd know that Jared did it.
Yeah, guilty. Spent a lot of time in Lancel. Love it. Beautiful spot.
But I got to say, the Model Y is not very fat, and I just don't see a Cybertruck fitting between those stalls just quietly.
You have to have two wheels on the curb there, the right wheels.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it looks like the S and the X would struggle to fit there because it's not real wide.
It's not, as you can see, there's not a lot of space between.
Those doors.
And that car on the right, that's a Model 3. So
yeah, well, that photo shows the difference in length between the two. It's a good photo for that.
Yeah.
It does.
Gone forward a little bit more, but yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, like literally right above me was actually I'll get the tweet up because there are actually better photos on the tweet on Tokwa's tweet.
Was it the power line? Was it?
Yeah, there's power lines above. Oh yeah, here's one of the images. The power lines. So I basically positioned the drone, sort of threaded it between power lines and other things, and that's a wider shot. So yeah, there's basically power lines directly above. But anyway, but yeah, that was basically the two cars there in the morning, 69 position, sort of street level, and then just a close up of the three stalls virtually surrounding. This car was girt by three stalls.
There's a lot of car bays being constructed these days that are way too narrow, although the government's starting to do that so big cars can't get in, but it's just illogical.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Putting barrier curbs where they never should put them. And some islands come out too far so that most people hit the end of the island, and they do that on some of the roads, the centre island.
Yep.
It's crazy.
One of the
I used my reverse park on Friday to get into that one, Harold, and it was perfect.
Oh, I saw your post, Damo.
Yeah, I'm at work, Jared. I can't stay.
Yeah, so that's a good point, Damo. And that's the thing is, if you're reverse parking, it's not a problem, but the issue is on this end bay you can't reverse park because you have to go forward park because it's the only way you can hook up to this stall, because you can't hook up to that one because your charge port will be on the other side. So with this supercharger setup, the first two bays are reverse entry, and this one you have to go in forwards. And when you go in forwards, you can't see the front of your car because you don't have you don't have a front camera. So it's impossible. You just got to just judge it as best you can to get in without caning your wheels on that curb. Or
was there a reason? Do you know if there was a reason, Harold, why they can't put that end one or the one that's on the front of the road? See where the paving is? Is there a reason why they couldn't put it there on the corner?
I think there's no reason. Look, I've heard people say things like, "Oh, it'll make it easier for non-Tesla cars to charge," but it's actually not true, because if you think about it, it makes no difference whether the road was where the grass is and the grass was where the road is. The fact is the stall is always at the bottom left of the car. If it was a Kona, you would reverse park, because the Kona's charge port is at the front, So if you reverse park, the port would be here and you would plug in. But again, if you had a Kona and you're in this stall, you would then just drive forwards and plug in. So it doesn't make any difference which side. I think this was just a mistake, to be honest. I think Tesla somehow thought this was a good idea. And look, if you were towing a trailer, you go, oh, that might be possible. It's actually impossible, because if I go to the other shot, imagine you're towing a caravan or a trailer and you've turned inwards to get into the stall. When you go in reverse, your trailer's going to jackknife on you, but you can't pull your car around because you're going to reef it on this stall. So you're going to have to unhitch and push the trailer out the way so you can get out. So there's literally nothing going for this site in that configuration. Nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing going
sorry, it is very tight.
Yeah, the only thing going for it is if this paving kept on going, if it was like an end. So if you forward parked into an end section, so this is all, but if this was all just brick paving, then that might not be so terrible, because you could just like back straight back and then turn and go that way. But yeah, to be honest, I think Tesla, I don't know what they were thinking, to be honest. It doesn't make it better for anyone.
All right, I've got to go. Good night, everyone.
No worries, mate. Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Good night.
But I mean, look, the awesome thing is that Lanceland's there. That's the point. It's there and it's available, and you just plug and charge, and it just works.
It's a great spot. You've got the bakery right there. You've got the barbecue and the shaded place to sit down and eat. You've got the playground. You've got a green open space there. You've got the network there. You've got the 2 ACs there. You've got a BMX track there. You've got the beach that's far away.
Oh, and you just live in the car, stay in shower in the toilets.
You've got toilets and showers.
Showers in the toilets, and then you can, it's just awesome. It's a great spot.
And when you get your loaf of bread, you got to carry it long ways, not side on, otherwise it bashes the bloody charger.
Yes, you can't get any baguettes. No baguettes.
No baguettes. Cancel the
baguettes. Dearie me.
So,
yes. Anyway.
So on your trip, Harold, are you and the wife going, right? There's two. There'll be 2 of you in the car sleeping, and you're saying that like because Pete, have you only just done it with you in the car? Have you never slept with the wife in the car as well?
I tried on more than one occasion,
and didn't work.
Was told to jump in the lake, basically.
That just demonstrates the wisdom of your good wife.
Yes. Very smart lady. Yeah. Very smart lady.
So I can tell you now, Jared, I mean, I could regret this, but I'm not taking, I've got one of those memory foam mattress packs in like a duffel bag thingo. I forget what it's called.
The one you let the air back into it.
From Tesla's. No. It's a memory foam, and then you just squash it all down. It's in 3 sections, 3 strips. It's got Velcro, and if you put all your seats down, it forms like a double bed. I'm not even bringing that for an emergency with the wife and myself. We just, if there's no accommodation, we'll just go to the next town, like, whatever. So, no, we're just not. And to be honest, I've got a slow DC charger. I've got a spare wheel, fridge, drone.
I think the truth is you just told you no.
Yeah, but that's right. Like, I was fortunate to convince her to do a lap at all under any circumstance, and it will be glamping. It won't even be camping. It'll be just hotel rooms and stuff. So
yeah, I can't talk Rosie into it either.
She's a wise lady too.
I wonder if halfway through Rochelle will be thinking to herself, Barum, barum.
Yes, and that won't just be because she'll be pining for her car with the same number plates. It'll be literally, why did I do this? But look, there should be some nice spots. We're going to go to Kakadu for a bit because, as it turns out, it's not that far away from Darwin, and should be good. And Daly Waters. Have you been to Daly Waters, Peter Ship?
Yeah, that's a great place. Fabulous. Definitely worth staying overnight there.
Yes,
really good.
Yes, we're definitely going to try and stay overnight there because it's like a little resort. Well, sort of like a
great place. Yeah, have a lot of fun.
Harold,
So say again, Jared.
you gonna stay on the Gold Coast?
To be honest, no, because we've already done the Gold Coast.
Because that was the only
twice.
place that Pete stayed out of his car. Was it the Gold Coast? He stayed in that hotel for about 5 nights in the Gold Coast, right?
See, I would have been, Harold, had it not been for the Gold Coast. You're right, Joe. That's what slowed me down.
Ah, right.
I dropped 5 nights there.
Between the Gold Coast, the meter maids, and the casinos, it was gone. It was just too much work. Too much work. Partying too hard.
I went for a good time, not a long time.
And that was just the Gold Coast.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, like we're gonna go very quickly, like try and get to Baladonia on the first day, which is 900 and something k's, and then Penong the second day, which is another whatever 900 k's, and then take it easy through like back blocks of South Australia, and then do Tassie. We're gonna meet Chuck in Hobart. Might try and go to Mona if we can do that. I think as tourists we've got to pay, but the locals are free.
How much is the boat, Harold? Getting the boat over?
Oh, $1,300 or something ridiculous.
One way.
Oh, are you free?
No, but return. It's return.
Oh.
And we have booked a cabin, so we're staying in a cabin.
It's not one of Pete's cabins where there's 20 blokes in there, would you?
No, no, it's our own one with like a double bed, like not a bunk, like that's
And
proper.
not sharing with any other 15 other couples or anything. Just you and then you and Michelle. That's it. Yeah, right.
That's right. But I think the problem is if I put Spirit of Tasmania, it just
It's expensive.
it SPIRIT. If I put in Spirit of Tasmania, I just get a gazillion emails because they keep spamming you. Like after you book it, they go congratulations, and then they keep asking you to update details and rah rah rah. But I think it was eye watering. It was like I think it's $1,300. It's like
per person or per car.
Well, for the car and the 2 occupants, the car and a cabin. But the cabin was $200 maybe. So I think the car itself was about 1,100, and the cabin was about 200.
Can you stay in the car if you want to?
No.
Oh.
So, and that's something that Rob Dean reminded me of is when you've delivered your car, like you've stacked your car, you must remember to take whatever you want to take because you do not get an opportunity to go back. Like it's quarantined, it's locked off. You're forbidden from going back to the car for any reason whatsoever.
Oh. How long was the trip?
Overnight. It's about 12 hours-ish. Yeah. So I think we're catching the ferry they've changed it to Geelong, and you catch it at roughly 6-ish o'clock or 6:45, something like that, and it arrives at Devonport at a similar time the next morning.
But it's off season as well, so it should be cheap because it's only not very expensive in summer.
I wonder if it's because don't the eastern states have their school holidays 1 or 2 weeks before we do, and we have our school holidays at the end of September. It might just be perhaps the return. Perhaps the return trip is just touching the school holidays, or
so $200 a night per cabin.
Yep.
So they're modelling that on some of the hotels on Grayson Highway near the airport. Some of those really cheap. The two ashtray type hotels. Ah, yes, okay.
Don't forget, it's actually 2 nights. In fairness, it's $200 for 2 nights because you go one night to Tassie and 1 night back. So that's look. I got no issue with the cabin. It's just that the car is it's pretty expensive.
How long is $90 for my car, and that was high roof and 20-foot long.
Yeah, but you know.
How long are you staying in Tassie, Harold?
About 5 days ish, 5 nights, 5 or 6.
You're better off leaving the car on the mainland and just renting another Model Y in Tassie.
No, take your car.
Oh no, it's just not the same.
Only cost you
Pete.
$60 a day. Adult fares from $69.
Yeah, that's if you sit. That's if you sit in the chair.
Yeah. The cabin's $200 on top of that. I agree. But,
yeah.
No, I'm going to sit in a fucking chair for 12 hours.
So then if you do the maths, look, you're right, Pete. Out of the $1,100, I might save $400 if I rented. But then I've got someone else's car, which sometimes has interesting smells in it, and it's just not my car, and
It's not the same.
And you can't claim that you did a lap in someone else's car. That doesn't count. That's not a lap, you know. Otherwise, you could. I mean, I did a lap in a Greyhound. You know, like what's that? You know, that's.
Oh, it's $1,400 cheaper, but it's not the same.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we'll see Chuck, which will be good before Chuck does a Pete and slugs it across Nullarbor camping mode, and yeah.
Are we still having a catch up with Chuck over here?
Sorry?
Still a catch up with Chuck over here?
Yes. So I think that's going to be that he's due to arrive in Perth on the same day as we're due to have a casual meetup. So that's on the Wednesday. I presume so. I don't know for certain, but I presume so.
He can always give us a yell if he gets caught. So
yeah, cool. Yep, no worries. But yeah, so it'll be good good to catch up with him. Well, in Tassie, and then in Perth, it'll be even better. In his awesome model. I think he's got a Model Y. Was it 3?
I thought it was a 3.
3.
Oh, 3. Okay, 3. Yeah. So that'll be good. Yeah. So again, we'll be slumming it for the next few Ask Us Anythings for about the next 2 weeks, and then the week after that will be a casual meetup on the Wednesday evening. So I'll have a week off, and then one more on the road, Ask Us Anything, and then hopefully I'll be back by Wednesday the 20th of September, which will be a local Ask Us Anything. So there you go. All right. Any last drinks? It's been a bit of a weird night with a bit of disappointment on the Australian front.
Alex will be upset that he missed John's daughter.
Probably.
But
this is not. But this is not perfect match. It's probably better known as imperfect match of an eclectic bunch of EV owners. So Pete, how would you round out an awesome show like this?
Let's hear for England. England, cup of tea.
God, shut him up. Just mute him already, would you, Harold?
He's well and truly muted.
As always, stay safe, stay sustainable, and stay ahead of the curve.
And the best way to do that is buy a Tesla, join TOCWA, and ask us anything about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Have a wonderful week. I really do look forward to seeing you on the on-road version of Ask Us Anything. What could possibly go wrong? Really appreciate it. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, everyone, for here, and I'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Yeah. I will enjoy.
Good night.